I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. You can make songs and other time signatures other than 4/4. My name is Marquee, musician, rapper, record producer, unashamed Christ follower, and today I'm going to show you how I made this lo-fi beat in 3/4 time signature.
Marquee Productions.
First of all, if this is your first time seeing me, welcome to the channel. If you are returning, welcome back. On this channel, I make videos that break down my songwriting and beat making process, as well as tutorials that are specific to Logic Pro 10, as well as giving advice to other independent artists and producers. This is another video where I'm going to break down a lo-fi beat that I made. And before I get into this breakdown, I need you to do me a really quick favor. If you like seeing videos like this, do me a favor and give this video a thumbs up and also subscribe so that way you can see more videos like this and so other people similar to you can see more videos like this. Alright, so now that we got that out of the way, I'm going to open up Logic Pro 10 and I'm going to show you how I made this lo-fi beat in 3/4 time signature. So if you're not too well versed on music theory, you may be wondering, what's 3/4? What's the time signature? So most music that you listen to, especially most popular music, is in 4/4. The easiest way to explain it is how whenever you count a beat, you're normally only counting 4 beats. You normally would count a song like
1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, 3/4 is when you just count it like
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
It may sound weird until you actually hear music and then start counting the rhythms. So I wanted to try something new. Since I played in bands throughout middle school, high school, even for a little while in college, while I'm not crazy knowledgeable about music theory, I know enough to find different ways to challenge myself. And I've wanted to experiment with making beats in different time signatures and I just haven't yet. But one day I sat down, I found this loop, and then I decided, you know what? I'm gonna chop this up and turn this loop from 4/4 to 3/3 and then just continue building the beat around it, and it just happened to be fire. So I was browsing through my loops, I chopped it up so it could play in 3/4 time signature, and then I added a couple effects to it, and here's what that sounds like. When you try nodding your head to the beat of this track, you may notice that it is at the different pulse than what you're probably used to listening to. It may be a little bit more obvious when you hear the other instruments, especially the drums and context. And one thing about using loops like this is that sometimes they can get a bit repetitive. So I usually try to find some way to manipulate the loop even further somewhere else in the song. So the loop played that for most of the verse and the chorus. So to make it sound different in the second verse, I added this plugin called M-Rhythmizer, which if you use FL Studio is pretty similar to Gross Beat. And basically what I did with the setting on there is that it sounded like I chopped it up in a different way. So here's what the loop sounds like in the second verse with this effect on it. So I had that playing for about half of the second verse, and then another change I made is that I actually dropped that loop down an octave, so it sounds a lot lower in tone. Here's what that sounds like. So especially for songs like this where you use a loop, you're keeping it reasonably minimalistic, you may want to do something to change up the loop in certain sections so it doesn't seem super repetitive, especially for songs like this where it's an instrumental and you don't have a vocalist to also add different dynamics to the song. You want to be mindful of adding in different instruments, taking things out, changing how certain instruments play in certain sections of the song, and that just makes it sound more interesting. One common trait in a lot of lo-fi songs that I've worked on previously is using this nylon string guitar. I enjoy adding in live instruments in some of my beats, and this instrument is definitely one of my go-to favorites. And I thought it especially fit this track because the loop that's already playing is a guitar, so I just played something in a different register. So here's one of the parts that I played. Then I would go on to add a couple of effects to spice it up a little bit. So here's what this guitar sounds like after I put the effects on it. The effects I put on it are the UAD Studer, which adds some warmth and character to it, some RC20, which adds another layer of vintage color as well as some wobble on it, and some reverb. And then I added one other guitar playing a different part in the same section of the song that sounds like this. And then both of those guitar parts together sounds like this. So I'm not sure if I did this intentionally, but what I did notice is that both of those guitar parts together are actually playing the pulse of the song. Like when you nod your head to each note that was played on both of those guitars, that actually does match up with the pulse of the song. Not sure if I did that on purpose, but Sounds cool. So I decided to do things a little differently in the second chorus because a lot of this song is pretty repetitive, if I'm being honest. So I wanted to keep adding in different changes so that I could make it sound a bit more interesting. So in the second chorus, rather than having those nylon guitars play again, I actually grabbed my electric guitar and played 2 other different parts. So here's one of them. And of course I added on effects to that to make that sound more interesting. So here's what it sounds like with the effects on. It's got similar effects to the nylon guitar, and also I added on this phaser from Guitar Rig. So I added on another guitar line in a
higher register,
playing this. Just playing that twice, and then I wanted to add just one more piece to finish it off, and I just played that exact same line but a third higher. And here's what all 3 of those guitars sound like together. So like I said, I had those nylon string guitars in the first chorus and then these electric guitars in the second chorus because I wanted the song to sound like it was progressing. I wanted it to have different changes going on, even though there really aren't that many instruments in it. So in songs where you don't really have too many tracks going on, rather than having every single sound play at the exact same time, you can have certain sounds, for example, those nylon guitars play in one section of the song, and then take those out and have another instrument like this electric guitar play in a different section of the song. So that way, even though it may not be the most complicated production in the world, it sounds a bit more complex and it sounds like there's more going on because you space different things out, and then, in my opinion, making a more enjoyable listening experience. So at first, I just had that loop and the guitars in there, as well as, the drums. And I thought that it still sounded a little empty, so to fill up a little more space in this beat, I actually added on this pad that I don't remember how to play, so I'm just going to play the audio for you. I got that pad out of Massive by Native Instruments, and then of course I added on a bass. And on this part, rather than just play the root notes, it does follow the chord progression of the loop, but also I added in those extra filler notes just to make this bass part sound a little bit more interesting. Last but not least, here's what I consider one of the most important elements of a track, the drums. So now I'm going to play you a snippet of the full song, and with the drums, you may be able to finally hear that 3/4 pulse if you weren't able to already. And of course, I will leave a link to the full version of the song in the description below, as well as the cards. And now here's a snippet of Long Road by Marquee Productions. Watching this video. If you like what you've seen today, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications so you know whenever I upload new videos. Also be sure to visit my website, marqueeproductions.com, where you'll be able to check out my music, my beats, my sample kits, my merchandise, as well as my mixing, mastering, and consulting services. Now go down in the comment section below and let me know what are some things that you would like to see covered on this channel. Would you like to see any specific Logic Pro 10 tutorials? You want to see any production tips for other genres of music other than lo-fi? Do you want me to cover any controversies or news within the producer community? Let me know in the comment section below. My name is Marquee Productions. God bless.